The Changeling, Season 1, Episode 8, Battle of the Island, the finale of Season 1, Episode 8 is over, but we are just getting started here on the Connect on Post Show Recaps. It's me, Chappell, and I got a lot of complaining to do today. And with me, my co-host, who I'm sure is ready to complain as well, Mari Forth. Mari, what's up?
Oh man. It's over. It's here. We're here to talk about it. You know, things are thinging.
Did they? Did things thing, Mari?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Look.
Well, at least we know we have job security, right?
Do we? Do they? You know, like what? Yeah. So before we jump into what I would consider one of the more confusing finales I've ever watched in my life, I really do want to thank everybody for listening, for checking us out on YouTube, for leaving such good reviews and ratings, and for tuning in to this wacky show, because we beg people to watch this show. Like, oh yeah, y'all gotta watch the change and check it out. It's gonna be cool. And in a way, I feel like we do kind of owe y'all an apology, or at very least, you know, we here with y'all. Just know that. But yes, it's a good time. We're trying our best here, but the Changeling has taken us on a roller coaster that kind of ended in a little bit of a flat ending for me, and from what I can tell from most of the internet as well. And so I am very excited to talk about that today with Mari. But again, if you were catching us on the Post Show Recap feed, we have our own feed on Spotify. Check us out, the Connect on Post Show Recaps, wherever you get your podcast. And you should be able to subscribe and get more Connect content from us, to hear more from Mari, myself, Latanya, Asia when she stopped by. And even if we bring in some more special guests, it should be a good time here. So hopefully every show we talk about will not be as polarizing as this one, but we have not even gotten into the beginning of that polarity. Mari, before we get started, is there anything you want to say to our listeners?
Just thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for sending us all your feedback. We've heard so many people loving what we've covered so far this season, and more to come, honestly. So that's the biggest thing. Just thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really wish that I could tell you that we're about to get into a deep discussion about the things that we learned, all the updates to what we were suspecting, the answers to all the burning questions, all that and more, a deep character study even of some of like these reveals that we've seen in the last episode. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, no, we're not doing none of that, because these people decided to give us a 30-minute finale, Mari.
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30
Boy,
minutes.
What's happening?
Who do they think they are? Game of Thrones?
Where do you get off? You're a dog. This was the shortest episode of the entire series, by a lot. Prior to this, the shortest episode, sans credits, probably was like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Without the credits, 29 minutes. With the credits, 29, y'all.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, because it's like clearly they did this because they wanted a season 2. Like,
right,
clearly, like that is the only answer. We have to be getting a season 2. And that's great. It's like whoop de woo. Like now I know, like, limited series, like limited series, like aren't good for like the writers. One thing I learned from like the writer strike and stuff like that. Like less limited series, more like constructed multiple season shows being I get that, great. But the problem is like this source material screamed limited series. If it's based off of one book, trying to stretch it out like this just doesn't make sense. And it's like, it's sad, because they did such a good job in those like first few episodes of like kind of like building up the tension and of like what was the real world portion. And then we move over to like, oh, we're dipping our toes in the fantastical of it all, to then just kind of cut it off like right at the end. I get it that maybe next season will be fully fantastical, like it'll be like Narnia style. We're following Emma into the realm while Apollo tries to follow her. Like, great. But it just does not feel rewarding. At the end of the season, this doesn't feel rewarding. And if we have to wait 2 years or something
Dear
like
God.
that to get to season 2, like, I don't know if that same audience is going to be there waiting for another season,
Yeah, this could have been 30 minutes tacked on to the last episode, and it could have just been the finale last week, or like, I mean, I just don't think we had enough content in this finale to justify us wanting to come back for next season. Like, we're nosy. So we're going to come back because we want to see what we've been waiting on, right? But to give us 30 minutes, and it's 30 minutes of crumbs, it was essentially one fight scene.
Yeah,
like the entire thing. Yeah,
again,
and it's like,
who do you are? Game of Thrones?
right. What did you gave us all of this for one fight scene between two characters that personally I don't care about that much. We are invested in the stories of Apollo, in the story of Emma, even in the story of Apollo's mom, Emma's mom, the sorcery, the witchcraft, and you got Callisto fighting William.
Yeah, so, after a few episodes of us being like, Callisto's mad annoying. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah.
Like, good for her. This is a good episode for her, I guess, but I wasn't going into it like, rah, let's go. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to drag this podcast out too long because they didn't give us much to work with, but let's just go ahead and get into the big picture of it all. This episode starts with kind of like getting back to our A plot, which is Apollo and William, who I noticed this time, like we speculated before that William is a troll. He says he's a part of a community of 10,000 men online that go by kindergarten. And I really think that internet troll is probably exactly what we like when we speculated. I think that's probably right. The man's name is William Webster Wheeler, WWW. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Dang.
I just don't. And so
nice.
Right. And so we see William Webster Wheeler, aka WWW, kind of being menacing. He's about to come after Apollo because he gave him one task. He said, "Bring me Greta and bring me Grace, my wife and my daughter." And he is unable to do that. So I mean, basically, this is when it all dawns on Apollo that William is the bad guy, even though everybody's been telling him that already. And so William is going to come after him. We also get some exposition talking about a Norwegian family a Norwegian boat ride, 50 some odd people or whatever on a boat trying to get to America to escape persecution. We have tied Norway to the trolls of it all. We've said William's probably a troll. We're assuming his family is who they're talking about, maybe to get them over here. But regardless of the fact, there's the chase. We have William and the troll as after Apollo, him and the island of misfit women. They all get together. They escape. The island's under attack. They climb down a mountain with the world's longest rope. Eventually, kind of fall off of the mountain and then escape into the water, in which case we see Apollo has to roll himself out to go find Emma. The other women all get away with the exception of Greta because she dies in the bombing. But now we see Callisto is there to kind of hold William back and fight him off while they all get away. And then essentially the episode ends. I mean, that's pretty much it. They fight. Callisto wins the fight. She falls to her death so that she could go. We'll get into this, but she can go be with her son in the stars. And then Apollo and Emma are both on their mad chase to go find Brian in the forest. Mari, that's our episode. It could have been an email. Literally. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it could have been an email. It's sad because it's like we invested so much time in this series, and I really do like the series, like as a concept overall. I just think it's the production decision making that is just kind of where it falls flat. I mean, ending it on this what is supposed to feel like an epic battle and all of this stuff, it's like it's okay. I'm glad the women and children got away safely, minus Greta. Poor Greta. I was like, dang. But yeah, it did. It felt like it felt like they're like, hey, like smoke and mirrors, like, hey, isn't this cool? Isn't this cool over here? So now it's over. So that you don't. And I'm not gonna act like I don't I'm not gonna be waiting to see Emma like go into the forest and hopefully like kick some troll ass. Like I'm here for that fairy troll unsullied whatever it is. I can't wait, you know. So like it like I just really want to see that, but I wanted to see that in this season. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to have to wait, and you know that was their decision. It's unfortunate. And that's really all. You know what I'm saying? I was expecting maybe Apollo to break out like a move or two when he was falling from that cliff. I was like, oh, maybe some flight. Like you're supposed to be the god Apollo, like show me something, sir.
Give me something.
It was like, nah, I just survived this really long fall. I probably shouldn't have.
Probably shouldn't have failed. Life would have been easier. It'd have been easier to row this boat had I not fallen off a cliff. But yeah, the fall is one thing that I was kind of just like, dang, you really like. I really didn't realize that the episode was about to end so soon. I looked up and I was 17 minutes in, halfway through. By the time they're jumping off, they're falling off this cliff. Now, we did see some impressive cliff climbing for Callisto. I think Callisto is probably the character we learned the most about in this episode.
Yeah.
She climbs the rock, like the side of this cliff in the rain, Mari, to go fight this man. Obviously, she talks about how women are looked at as witches because they're able to do some super amazing things sometimes. And this is one of them. Mari, what did you think about Callisto? Because this might be the last time we see her.
I mean, she okay, you did that one thing, you ate this one thing a little bit like that. That's how I feel about it, because the whole rest of the story I was like, why are you being a dick to Apollo? He wants to find his wife and his son, you know, but she's like, I'm tired. I was like,
yeah, I'm done. I'm tired of raising
I get it. She's like, I'm exhausted.
and she wants to go be with her son.
Yeah, and so she goes and she beats. I'll give it to her. She beat the hell out of William.
Got his ass
so good. So, you know, this is the way. I'm glad she went out like this. Like, if she's gonna go out, she went out swinging. Now, I don't know if William died, but like,
he gets dragged. His body does get dragged across the ground by someone.
Something. And she was like, you ain't finna get me.
Yeah. Whoops. Jumps off the cliff.
So good for her, I guess. Like, this is the way to do it. So I'm kind of glad that to me, this means we're off the island. Like, the island is done. It's dusted. Great way to wrap up that storyline, but I want to get to the main storyline again.
Right. It would be nice. There's a moment where Callisto and William are fighting, and he says to her, she's going to kill you. And Callisto responds, I'm not going to give her the satisfaction. And then she jumps off the cliff. Who is she?
The creature thing?
Is it a woman?
I don't know. And then I didn't even really see it. Was it just like a tree? Like
right. I think it's still supposed to be like a tree-like image. We see it in the water a couple times throughout the season, but it's a she, it's whoever it is.
Yeah,
and this is the first that we've heard of this she. You know, all the trolls we are led to believe are men because they're you know the kindergartners, if you will. And maybe this is the sorceress, the witch from the first, you know, kind of storyline.
Well, I don't know, because at the end we saw a giant eye.
I thought that was the troll. I thought maybe that was like in the caverns, you know, like an actual physical representation of a troll. But it didn't give me troll eye. It kind of gave like a dragon eye.
Dragon. I was like,
yeah, okay, we're on the same page.
I don't know what's going on.
Where'd that come from? Yeah, the other notable thing about Callisto in this episode, aside from the fact that she actually used the gun, which made me very impressed, because I was like, please shoot him.
Yeah,
you know, like, I was like, please kill this man. Was the story about how she asked Apollo if he knows the myth of Callisto. Mari, are you familiar with this story?
I am. I am big into Greek mythology. I do have the Wikipedia pulled up to to refresh my memory, but
Take us
basically
through it, Mari.
basically Callisto was a nymph, a follower of Artemis who Zeus be out here just raping
Wildin',
women under false
wildin',
pretenses. Yeah.
turning into gold and showers and all kinds of stuff, and just
Yeah.
raping and pillaging. The
Mm-hmm.
worst.
He turned into Artemis and laid with Callisto, and she became pregnant. And when Artemis found this out, she expelled her from the group because Artemis is all about that virginness. And of course, then come Hera, the ace hater, who always gotta punish the women that Zeus be raping.
Right. The call is coming from inside the house. Hera.
Yes.
God dang.
Look closer to home.
Sweep around your own doorstep, ma'am.
Yeah. So Callisto gets turned into a bear. She's almost killed by her son who's hunting her, but she ends up like we hear in the Changeling. Her and her son end up in the constellations in the star as Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. But also that constellation, those constellations are also the Big Dipper, right? The Big Dipper and the Little Dipper.
And the Little Dipper, exactly. Yeah. Ursa
really
meaning bear, Major meaning big, great bear. Yeah. And so we see that when Callisto dies, Mari, we do get the shot of Ursa Major lighten up. You get the Big Dipper.
Yeah.
But like, okay. Cool. But okay. Like, what does that mean?
Was she the real Callisto?
I mean, even if she was, what does that mean to us? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like we've been getting any type of constellation talk. I mean, Apollo also was a constellation,
yeah.
Right? Isn't he? Look,
he is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, but that is the first that we've gotten any celestial information that had to do with this story at all. Like there's just nothing else, And so that's what I said in this episode, we learned the most about Callisto as she dies, and kind of takes the L to help the women get away. Now we don't know where the women are going, the women on the boat, the women and children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I guess we're left to speculate if they're going to go repopulate like another island.
Well,
right.
I don't know. I mean,
because Callisto was in charge. Who's second in command?
Gail?
Gail is a child. Gail's mom.
Gail's mom. That's what I meant.
Gail, look, the only person who talks to Gail is Apollo. Yeah. Maybe one day that'll be Emma's role, to kind of galvanize,
lead the women.
Yeah, that group of people, because they just go off into the distance and then that's it. We don't know anything else about where they're going. Yeah. Mari, there's so many questions we have unanswered up until this point. We have not talked at all about Emma, the sorceress, right? We talked about Emma's photo, like the picture that she was taking with that Norwegian guy or whatever. And then the photo is taken and then we hear nothing else. Like we don't know what the significance is of that, except for William saw her in the window. Do you think this is something we're going to address in season 2 at all? Mari, I really don't want to spend the next 30 minutes of this podcast speculating, but what else do we have?
We have nothing else. We have nothing else. We have to speculate. Yeah, and that's why it was weird. Maybe because broke this down.
Ben did this.
So we were like, so that reveal, I was like, okay.
All right.
And
go off.
Right.
So
yeah.
What do we have here? The photo. It was, so they say Emma had the look of a sorceress in her eyes. We saw her glowing when she was rowing the boat. There's some magic there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's magical. Yeah.
But like, why?
Yeah, and so it just makes me wonder if the friend doesn't exactly know the third wish. You know what I'm saying? Like she knows a reference to the third wish, but she doesn't know what the desire behind the third wish is.
This is only the second time that we've seen this friend. The friend came and dropped his knowledge, and now they're giving us the repeat of the knowledge. And I thought boom, they showing us the friend, because what the friend
Mhm.
said, we about to learn. Emma had 3 wishes. She had a good husband, a healthy child, which question mark,
Mhm.
and then Emma's third wish is a blank. We never learn what the third wish is, even to this day.
Yeah. And so that and that's what I'm thinking. Like, again, I think it's because we had already put that together that when they were doing this huge reveal of like, oh, it's, she looked like a sorcerer. It hung up in Norway. Oh, William walked past it. Oh, there's little Norway in the Forest Hills. Like, we put all that together already. So
Right.
I was like, okay, a recap, okay. And
Okay.
I think that was the thing. We thought, okay, it's a recap, they're gonna reveal more information. But for them, they were like, this is the information we're revealing. And so
Right.
like, so so for some people, I don't know, maybe people were like, oh snap. But for
Right.
us, it's
Wow,
just like,
that's
okay,
crazy.
but what's the next step? What's the next
Yeah.
step? Does she really want that painting down? Is that painting now here in New York somewhere? Like, did William buy that painting or something like that?
Mhm.
We get the boat and the ancestor thing. It's like, okay, so we're really diving into this Norway thing, but we're not diving into it because they're holding stuff back for next
Right.
season. So it's hard to speculate, but my biggest thing is thinking like when Callisto said that when they call women
Mhm.
witches, because you can do stuff, but when your loved one is in danger, that's when like
You
the
transform.
magic sparks. Yeah, you transform. So that's what I think we're getting with Emma. Like, the
Right.
one thing in this episode that I did like, which again, it's not something we didn't see coming, but them reading the full poem
Mhm.
that about the fairies and stuff. Basically, like, this is what we're outlining, this is what's happening. Emma is going to go find Brian because he's hidden amongst the forest with the guile. Like, I love seeing that transformation. Like, Emma's like, I'm about this life, my eyes are glowing, I think I found the portal to wherever fairyland, and I'm coming, Brian. I'm so hyped for that. But again, I was hyped for that 3 episodes ago. you
Right.
know
Been needing that one. Been needing
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So
Mari, I saw an article in the Grigio by Brooke Obi. I will give a shout out
okay.
to Brooke Obi. And Brooke Obi was like us, very confused. Because a lot of people were like, what was this for? What are we doing here? We definitely gonna
Yeah.
have to name this the Changeling Explained, even though we're not explaining nothing, because we're gonna have to get some
Yeah.
clicks for this one. Because we don't know nothing that nobody else says. So we're gonna try to get some clicks too. But she said that season 1 ends less than 70% of the way through the novel, right? So
Less than
less
70%.
than 70% of the way through the novel, right? And so the remaining
Okay.
30% of the book explains hugely significant things that the series pretends either don't matter or wrongly believes that they can wait till season 2. So it's a bunch of stuff that we should have found out in this season that we're obviously talking about right now that had we probably would feel a lot better about it. It says the first is the significance of Brian's grave. And then we'll find out some of that later on as well, right? And so we don't get any of that. We just don't.
Wow.
And so I don't want to go read the book, obviously, because that'll spoil everything. But I do think that knowing that this is one season in, it hasn't covered it covered about roughly half the story. But we still feel like there's so much to be uncovered. It really does feel like, Mari, they're trying to save themselves for like a very strong season 2. But just from a consumer perspective, you might not get people to come back when you do stuff
Yeah.
like this. Because that 29-minute finale took me out the game. I'm not
It
lying to you.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
for you, I could I could definitely tell. And for me, the only reason why it hasn't taken me out the paint is because as somebody who reads like this sci-fi fiction type stuff, I'm kind of not surprised that they're trying.
It's like, you gotta
Again,
know.
we stuck in the like 8 seasons of Game of Thrones off
What?
of 5 books. So it's just kind of like,
Right.
I'm not surprised.
Right. Look, I watched all of True Blood, so I really don't have no
You
room
have
to.
no wiggle.
I have no wiggle room. Okay. I've done my dirt.
Yeah. But the problem I think they are not realizing is, and I don't want to stereotype, but I don't think many Black audiences are used to such sci-fi topics. They might not. So that was one of the things that was refreshing about it. That's one of the reasons why we chose this. We're like, okay, like Black people can do sci-fi too. You know what I'm saying? But like, you have to be able to do that, to land that hook, line, and sinker. And they did such a good job at the beginning of the season, and they did not stick the landing. So that's the sad thing. Like, I kind of wish that they did give us something concrete to like kind of land on in this finale. So maybe people would like really be like, oh snap, I gotta come back. Like, I think they left the ending too like vague in a sense. Like, just confirm some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Please.
Like even with Callisto being like, oh, I guess you could call us witches. Just say I'm a witch. Say I got these powers. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole, oh, we're kindergarten. There's 10,000 men, and then the eye and stuff like that. Like, I don't tell me. Like sometimes after such a prolonged dragging it out, just tell us what they're up against next season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that last section where it's like it's 10,000 men of us, we're kindergarten. Be like, and we will keep these babies. We will
we got a plan.
It's fine. Do it. Like, tell us, we will awaken the great mother. Just tell us,
Yeah. I did enjoy the one clip we get, and it's a split second, but it's like, I guess one of the kindergartners like on the computer, and you see like this screen of like, I guess like of the other kindergartners. They seem to be wearing masks or whatever, but the trolls, right? So there's a network of these people. And then we see the big giant eye. We also get a glimpse of a merry-go-round. Is that what that thing's called?
A merry-go-round.
Yeah, a merry-go-round, carousel. Yeah, carousel. That's the word I'm looking for, with the horses on it and stuff like that. So yeah, that looks like wherever that is, that's probably the gateway to fairy world or whatever the case may be. And but we're left to assume that, because she's going toward it, and we see pictures of that in the book. So this is not one of those shows you can kind of like look off to the side, be on your phone. If they're giving you 29 minutes, you got to pay attention to every second of it, or it's nothing. You're not going to pick up on the little crumbs that they're giving us. But I did appreciate the illustrations in the book kind of aligning. So at least I could draw the conclusion that we're going in the right direction. It's just very belabored. I also think that, Mari, this happening during a writers and actors strike is very kind of like a choice, because we don't know when TV is coming back. We don't know if they've already filmed this. Let me see if I can look that up, Mari. If we've already filming season 2 or something like that. Because I don't know if you saw this, but I tweeted Victor LaValle. I was fed up.
Oh, snap, I didn't see that.
I was just like, I just want to talk. You know what I'm saying?
I will say, I still think that the ending with Emma and Apollo and reading the book, I do think that part for me was successful. I do. Because again, yes, we had been putting that together the whole entire time, but that was the thing throughout the show. They were not telling us the whole poem. They kept telling us bits and bits and bits along the way. So to hear the whole poem from beginning to end, basically it outlining what Emma and Apollo need to do to get their baby back. It outlined the kidnapping and all that. They kind of walked us through it. I did like it. Like, they walked us through. They talked about the windows. They flashed back through everything. They do put the pieces together for that part. So, and again, we know that they are going into Fairyland to find Brian. So I find that part very effective. The only part I don't find effective is the bad guy side of it, the William side of it, the trolls or the fairy, the fae, Unseelie again. I said Unsullied last time. My Game of Thrones references are mixing with my fairy references. But like that part could have been a little bit clearer. And I think probably you wouldn't be getting as much backlash. And also, again, bringing up the third wish when you weren't going to answer what the third wish was.
What was the reason?
It was not good. But honestly, I would say I would tell everybody, like, let's go back and let's rewatch that last like 5 minutes with Emma and the story being unfolded, because I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was done effectively, personally.
Yeah, I like the show. I just want to be very clear that I was just disappointed with the arc that we got throughout the 8 episodes because I
Yeah,
have been here
that's
for the
true.
entire ride. Y'all hear us.
Mhm.
We are picking apart what we are watching because that's what we do as podcasters. So make no
Exactly.
mistake, if we didn't enjoy it, we would have called it after episode 1.
Yeah.
But here we are, 8 episodes in. We will be back for season 2 if there is one because we're gonna want
Mhm.
to finish this off as well. I read also online that the novel is basically like a word for word, like bar for bar adaptation. Like this is like the same. So if you read
Which
the
is
book,
great.
right? If you read the book, the parts that they've included from the book are like right off the bat. The
I love
problem
that.
is there's a lot of stuff that they left out of the show that like for season 1 that they'll probably touch on in season 2 that we really could have used in season 1. And
Okay.
so that's a little frustrating. Mari, anything else about this episode before we get into some feedback and some questions we might have?
Um, yeah, no, well, no, I've just been over here reading some tweets like we did last week. I seen one that says, so the entire team thought it was a good idea to make an entire season of a show only to set up a second season, not even giving the audience a clue of where the plot is going or even a small glimpse of the overall story. So it's like that's what people are coming away from it with, you know? People are saying I got a 5-minute duel between Cal and kindergarten in a 25-minute episode, and I still don't know what the third wish was, or why Emma is glowing, or whether or not Apollo is a fairy or something. That's very annoying.
It's not great. Not great.
Yeah.
I honestly agree. I think that, between you and I, our conversations and some of the stuff we read online,
Mhm.
we put together, some of the direction in which the story is going for sure.
Exactly. Mhm.
But if you're not watching with a keen eye, or if you're not watching to talk about it, obviously for listeners, then maybe you don't pick up on some of that stuff. But I
Yeah,
do
that's
think
true.
that there's a lot of room for growth here because this being a very transparent attempt at setting up a second season does make it very frustrating as well. Now
Yeah.
it leaves the opportunity for them to expound on a lot. We haven't talked about the mole people again. Do they come back up?
Do they come
There's
back?
a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right. Where does Apollo's mom fit into all of this? Where's Kim? Where's Kim and Emma's mom in like the grand scheme of things? Did that have something to do with the witchcraft? Is that
Mm,
when she became a witch? Who knows? We definitely do
mm,
not because they gave us crumbs, y'all. So
mhm.
yes, just we are going to try to extend some grace. Obviously, we're not going to be like
Yeah.
this show sucks. Because we don't get a lot of this often, and I don't think the show was bad. I just think
Yeah,
that like
exactly.
I got left feeling whelmed at
Mhm.
best.
You got left
So
on red.
I got left on red. This could be an email. So let's get into some of the feedback because I do be trying to see if y'all be watching on YouTube every now and then. We don't get a ton of YouTube views. So if you want to go find us on YouTube, go to post show recaps, youtube.com/post show recaps and go to the playlist and look for the Connect on Post Show Recaps. You will see all of our stuff right there in order for everybody to keep up with. And of course, you can subscribe to the Connect on Post Show Recaps wherever you get your podcasts, or at the very least, Apple and Spotify. If it's not somewhere else, let us know and we'll try to make it happen for you. So 4 days ago, we got some really interesting feedback from Honestly Sis. Honestly Sis says, I'll be honest. At first, I thought you two were being hard on the show about it not making sense in quotations, but y'all really killed this episode. Now, this is about episode 7.
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah, I was like, she's
We
gonna be
did
mad about this one. Yeah.
too.
So I didn't catch the signatures at the end, and it really brought it all together for me. The whole episode was beautifully shot and felt like a play, but was very frustrating. Toward the end, it felt like the show was speaking on generational traumas and how they can potentially pass on. I also love how this series speaks on memory and the things we think we remember from childhood. But I'm praying that the death of his father is somehow tied to baby Brian. Holding out hope they can stick the landing with or without a season 2. Honestly, sis. Either way, it has truly been a joy to watch this show with you two. Book club for this book next. Mari, you love a good book club.
I do love a good book club. I
do.
gotta decide. Maybe if they tell us when the second season is coming out, if it's like so far out, I will do a book club because I'm the type that I know I don't want to spoil it, but honestly, I'd rather spoil it than be sitting here with questions, to be quite honest. That's how I am. I'd much rather feel like I'm in the know and then come at it from a like, okay, they missed this and this, than to be like, I have no idea where we're at. But that's just me being, me being a six. So.
No, I feel you too, because I'm nosy as hell and I really want to know. But at the same time, I can't spoil myself, because then when we go into the podcast, I won't be able to earnestly ask the questions that I'm feeling, because I'm gonna know the answers. True. And so I have to stave off the book club. But if they tell us that this is not getting renewed, book club immediately. I'm down.
Oh yeah, immediately. Yeah. Oh my God. If they did all of this setup for a second season and then it doesn't get renewed, like pain. Like why? Yeah. Why? I would be so incredibly upset.
I would be so mad. But we saw them they kind of hold us with Lovecraft Country, y'all. So we know.
Oh my God.
And honestly, if you want to get into the Lovecraft Country coverage of it all, go to postshowrecaps.com and search Lovecraft Country. You'll see the coverage that was done by Josh Wigler, Kevin Maedejo, and LaTanya Starks. And even I joined a guest in a couple episodes as well, but we only got one season of that. And I'm hoping that we get a little bit more for the Changeling, because I am invested in storyline. Mari, we got more feedback. This one, I'm very happy to see, but also now that I'm reading ahead, I wish it wasn't. So this is from Devin Menifee, 1249. It says, hey, y'all, long-time listener, first-time commenter. So yeah, I just finished episode 8, and I am super disappointed in the 28-minute runtime. But when I say I was literally hooked the entire 28 minutes, that was a great finale overall. I just wish I could have gotten more. Also, the what the fuck was that? Dragons. Okay. Exactly, Devin. Exactly.
Is it dragons? I'm so confused.
Dragons? Where did they come from? He says, well, anyway, that was my 2 cents. Shout out to Chappell. He taught me how to do a back bend in high school. I was drum major training and stuff like that. I was a band guy, so I know this guy. I was like, hey, I know Devin. Shout out to my people from my high school finding this podcast. Weird shit. Thank you, Devin, for the feedback. And then a day ago, we got this from Banksy491. It says, so I just finished this episode and I think I understood 75% of it. However, I'm turning to you to help in possibly confirming that part and also to explain the remaining 25. I love the episode, especially with Adina Porter, who is always brilliant. Yeah, so that's all our feedback from episode 7. Thank y'all again for tuning in and just being a part of this journey. We had no clue it was going to be a journey. We just thought we was going to be talking about a TV show. But now it seems like we're going to have to support ourselves as a family, hold each other accountable, no spoilers, nobody go looking in the off season and trying to tell us where we going wrong, because we're trying to take this journey with everybody and not ahead of everybody.
That's true. You're right.
Yeah, I'm going back honestly to see if there's any more feedback, but I do appreciate everybody who chimed in for episode 7. I think which was one of my favorite episodes of the season. Just the way it was shot was so beautiful. But feel free to leave us any reviews on our podcast feed, whether it's Apple, 5-star ratings only, so that we can see and so that more people can find the podcast. Share it with your friends. We've been doing the Connect on Post Show Recap for a while, but we just started this YouTube thing, and so share the link, let people know that we're talking about shows, and then again, of course, let us know what you want us to talk about. The Black shows be hard to come by. It's almost impossible for us to keep a strong one going too, and so we're gonna keep our fingers crossed for this one. But we need y'all's help. So the Connect listeners, hook us up, join the fun, and we'll keep the party going. Mari, is there anything else you want to say about this series before we start to wrap up?
I just want to say, we're gonna hang in here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you said, we're hanging in here. We're here. If they're coming back, we're coming back. If they don't come back, we'll start that book club. I'm just still glad that art like this is being made. I'm still glad that we're getting different Black stories than we probably wouldn't have gotten years ago, and as a Black nerd, I'm glad that there's like some representation here for us. So it sometimes we don't get what we want in a finale, but it's okay. We're here together. Like Chappell said, we'll support each other, and hopefully we get some answers soon.
Yeah. So I'm going back through some of the older episodes too, because the YouTube comments, we normally don't get notified when that has happened. So we kind of got to
Yeah,
go
we
in and
don't.
read them. But
Mhm.
honestly, sis has been commenting. I think,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, honestly, sis commented on episode 3 and 4 that we did. So our second podcast, right? And was talking about the witches. Yeah, I really love this show. I was just like Apollo at the end of episode 4. Witches. I have high hopes for this show, but I knew William was on some BS. Thank you for being with us on that one. Mari, did you mention high tension in that?
Yes, I did. I did.
So yeah, so just Talia Sims said, "Oh my God, high tension is so good." I tell people that movie, and no one ever knows what I'm talking about, but I love that.
When I was
And so
talking about unreliable narrators.
Unreliable narrators. Honestly, Victor LaValle, I'm looking at you now. You are narrating this one, and I cannot tweet me back, dog. Just let's give you one. Maybe it's not breaking the strike if Victor LaValle, a person who wrote the book, comes and talks about it. It's like already like a book writer strike. It's not the same. So come holler at us here on the Connect on Poster Recaps. We will spam you. Yeah, writer strike is done. The actors are doing things. Yeah, let them handle their business, Victor. Come holler at us. And so, yeah. Thank y'all for giving us the feedback. Thank y'all for chiming in. It's been a blast. But of course, on the Connect, we want to bring y'all more content. Mari, what's next for us here on the Connect?
So next up, rap shit is still. Let me make sure.
TBD? Yeah, it's on the way.
Right. We were told that it was supposed to be dropping November 9th.
That's what it's looking like. But
if it's that, then we're here. We'll drop a all the things you need to know, like season 1 recap episode the week before season 2 premieres. And once that happens, we'll be in the thick of it with Rap Shit. If you haven't watched Rap Shit, go and watch it now. It's on Max. It is a great show. It's about 2 up and coming female rappers and them struggling to get into the business. It is so good. It's produced by Issa Rae. Kid Fury from The Read is one of the writers in the writing room. So definitely go check that out if you haven't, because we're covering it whenever it drops. We're covering it.
There. We will be there for the rap shit. And other black shit too. So let us know what you want us to talk about, and we will cover it here on the Connect. Mari, I think that's about it. We stretched this out as long as it can. It's long. This podcast is longer than that episode. So I think that's a solid podcast. Mari, tell everybody what you've been working on, what you got going on, and where they can find you.
Of course, every week, me and Sarah Carradine bring True Crime Tuesdays to RHAP over on the Crime Scene podcast. It's a true crime review podcast where we watch true crime documentaries, docuseries, properties, and then we rate them and tell you if you should watch them. Coming up, me and Sarah covered No Accident. It is also on Max, I believe. It is about the 2017 Charlottesville the neo-Nazi rally that turned deadly when
the tiki torches.
Yes, the tiki torches.
Yeah.
It turned deadly when a 20-year-old decided to run his car through a crowd of counter protesters, killing one person, and it follows the victims as they sue some of the organizers of the Unite the Right rally, including like famous neo-Nazi Spencer, I forget his name, but anyways, we cover that. It is a very hard watch, but it was very interesting, and we did have a good time discussing it. And it's just me and Sarah, so you can go check that out by going to robhasawebsite.com/crime feed in order to subscribe over there. Here on the Connect, where we've wrapped up this, we've wrapped up the other Black girl, so we're looking for other stuff. Let us know. I don't know, maybe we'll come back for a special podcast where we take on some of the big 5 Black movies. What do you think, Chappell?
We got to come back with something, because I think we got the listeners now. We got to be loyal to our listeners, and I think we got more to talk about. We talk way too much, as they say, and so let's keep the party going. I think a movie review, or maybe we bring in some extra people to help us out. But I think we can do this. This is gonna be fun.
Any excuse for me to watch Set It Off again, I'm here for it. maybe we to force you and I to watch Love and Basketball. Maybe we bring Asia. Isn't that one of her favorite? If that we'll bring Asia on and have her defend her
Please,
favorite
Asia.
movie.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, now. What do you have to say for yourself, Asia?
Maybe something like that. Let us know. There's like some fun stuff until we can get into like rap shit or anything else that's coming down the pike. But thank you all for listening. Chappell, what are you up to?
I got a lot on my plate right now. So
Yeah, you do.
Here on Post Show Recaps, I'm doing daily coverage of the show Suits on Netflix. So Suits is an old show that's gotten new life on Netflix, and me and Rob are covering it. Go to suitspodcast.com or postshowrecaps.com and subscribe to the Suits Yourself podcast feed. We got a Facebook community going where we send Suits memes, when we talk about the show, we speculate. Some people watched it for the first time, some people are rewatching it, but they're all listening to the podcast because every day we got a new podcast for you with me and Rob Sister, on Rob Has a Podcast and Post Show Recaps. So check that out. Also on Post Show Recaps, we just wrapped up The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. And so season 1 of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon is over, but we are just getting started because Fear the Walking Dead is upon us. The final season of Fear the Walking Dead, and most recently announced the Rick and Michonne spinoff series. So the ones who lived, or the ones who survived, the ones who lived is coming out. It's the story of Rick and Michonne, 2 fan favorites from the Walking Dead universe, and so we will be covering that as well on Post Show Recaps. More of The Walking Dead. As long as I'm alive, The Walking Dead will live, and it will probably outlive me, but we will still cover it here on Post Show Recaps. On Rob Has a Podcast, I'm talking about Below Deck here on YouTube every Wednesday with Sasha. We're going live at 3 p.m. Eastern to talk about Below Deck Med. We already did Below Deck Down Under, and we will be covering Below Deck. As long as it's Below Deck, and we'll be there. And so check that out on Rob Has a Podcast or on the Bravo RHAP Ups feed. The Rahap Ups feed is where you can find our podcast. Scally and I are covering The Devil's Plan. That's a good time. We're almost done, and I think we're going to try to have Mari on for the finale. So Mari here. Making our way through Devil's Plan. Scally's taking us through it, but it's on the Nothing But Netflix feed. And I believe it's on the Rob Has a Podcast Wrap Ups feed. So check that out too on robhasawebsite.com. Also, speaking of Rob Has a Podcast feed or the Nothing But Netflix feed, check out Nothing But Netflix. Every week we have a new Netflix show that we cover. This week was our 100th episode, and we brought in Ariel from Post Show Recaps to talk about the Mike Flanagan series, the most recent one, the last edition of this series, which is The Fall of House Usher. And it's a great time. I've now watched the entire thing. It was a great time. So check to the premiere only for Nothing But Netflix, and follow at Nothing But RHAP on Twitter to keep up with that. I should be on the Sunday episode of the Big Brother recap with Scally and Brian. Scally and Beth and Taryn. So check that out. Me and Jenny and Rob are trying to get this House of Villains coverage. So on House of Villains with New York Tiffany Pollard and Omarosa and Johnny Bananas, all the villains assembled in one place. We're trying to get Rob to talk about it. So if you know Rob, let him know. You need to bring that one back so that me and Jenny and Rob can cover it on Rob Has a Podcast as well. But that's it. So thank y'all again for letting us know that y'all are listening, that y'all are enjoying the show, even just giving us some criticism. Like I said, we're here to talk about it. We want to hear everything that you guys are thinking, but we do appreciate y'all for hanging in with us. So, again, you can follow me on Twitter at Chappelle's_show. Follow Mari at Mari Talks Too Much with the number 2. And then tune in next time to see what we have in store for you here on the Connect on Post Show Recaps. Until then, peace.